Hello, my name is Jay, and I'm here to present my research on the importance of combating food insecurity from a sustainable standpoint at the 2025 Global Health Leaders Conference. But before that, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm a rising sophomore at Newark Academy in Livingston, New Jersey. I enjoy volunteering at my local Akshay Patra organization, which is a foundation that aims to provide nutritious meals to food insecure students. I'm on the junior board of Covenant House, New Jersey, where I work on finding ways to stand up for youth facing homelessness, food insecurity, and the lack of access to basic needs and opportunities. I also love to play the saxophone, and I play lead tenor in various organizations, such as the New Jersey All-State Jazz Band, my school's jazz band, and even a small group with my peers where we volunteer to play music at local senior care centers. Now, on to the main topic for this presentation, food insecurity. Global food insecurity is a major crisis, with over 295 million people facing hunger today, and this number is only increasing as the years go by. The zero hunger goal set by the United Nations is at risk, as more than 600 million people worldwide are projected to face hunger by 2030. The impacts of this problem are devastating, such as malnutrition, chronic disease, and stunted growth. In fact, about 9 million people die from hunger each year, which is more than the combined deaths from AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis. What makes this problem even worse is that many solutions to food insecurity that are in use today are often ineffective, since they almost always fail when faced with problems such as conflict and war, climate difficulties, and economic instability, things that are very prevalent in most food insecure nations. Most solutions to food insecurity, such as donations or food banks, don't give agency to the local people that suffer from hunger, meaning that if the solution fails, suffering people won't have the means to provide for themselves. One such example is during the South Sudanese Civil War, where their government granted food aid access to only certain locations for political objectives, plunging many people that couldn't relocate into food insecurity. In this presentation, I will analyze what is necessary to design an effective solution to food insecurity and help us rethink the way to tackle this nuanced issue. I will be using one of the most food insecure nations in the world as an example, the country of Chad, by sharing my research from a paper I presented at Rutgers University. I will then compare three different proposed solutions to the problem and analyze the successes and failures to determine what everyone should take into consideration when designing their own solution. At the end, I will also share an example of how I use these guidelines to design my own solution. But first, a quick background on Chad. Chad is a landlocked country located in north central Africa, and it has three main geographical regions: the Northern Desert Zone, which lies in the Sahara Desert, the semi arid Sahelian Belt in the center, and the Sudanese Tropical Savanna Zone in the south. Most of the people work in agriculture, making up 80% of the workforce. However, agriculture is still a major challenge. Even though a substantial 40% of Chad's land is dedicated to agriculture, most of it is not suitable for sustainable crop yield. Less than 1% of Chad's farmland is irrigated, and only 3.9% of it is considered arable. Chad also suffers from various extreme climate change issues, such as desertification and the loss of fertile land, and the loss of water bodies as well. The first proposed solution to this issue is the Great Green Wall Initiative. This method aims to restore desertified land by planting many trees in the Sahel-Sahara region of Chad. In theory, the trees act as windbreaks, preventing topsoil from being carried away. Some studies suggest that they may even change microclimates and lead to localized increases in rainfall. The goal with this method is to lead to an increase in viable land for farming, reducing food insecurity overall. The second proposed solution is fallow rotation farming, which aims to restore soil fertility in the arid climate. This process allows the land to rest and recover between crop cycles, which is crucial to preventing desertification because it enables the replenishment of essential nutrients, improves soil structure, and enhances water retention. It works by farmers rotating crops for several years, then leaving the land fallow for up to 15 years, which means that they plow the land but leave it unsowed. The third proposed solution is zai farming. This method involves digging pits in the soil to collect water and nutrients for growing crops in dry conditions. Farmers dig small pits about 10 to 20 centimeters deep and 20 to 30 centimeters in diameter. They then fill the pits with organic material like animal dung or crop residues. When it rains, they plant seeds like millet or sorghum in the pits. The pits collect and concentrate water, reducing the risk of water stress. The organic material also attracts termites, which improve the soil structure and digest the organic material, making nutrients more available to plants. All three of these solutions were tried in the real world, and the most effective solution turned out to be farming, so I'm going to analyze why. As I mentioned earlier, Chad is landlocked and desertified, with most bodies of water shrinking quickly, meaning that resource management is vital. The Great Green Wall approach, while effective in theory, is not well suited for this region since it requires adequate access to water for large-scale tree planting. Fallow farming is susceptible to desertification as well, while farming actively conserves rainwater and improves soil quality. In order to actually empower the locals, agency is another important deciding factor. Fallow farming and farming fit within the local culture and are easy solutions for locals to do themselves, while the Great Green Wall approach relies heavily on foreign aid and doesn't involve locals, meaning that the locals will suffer if aid becomes unstable. Lastly, farming is the most cost-effective out of the three solutions, and it is easily mechanized, ensuring that it does more good for locals than harm. So, from this comparison, what are the factors that need to be taken into consideration when designing solutions? First of all, they must account for regional nuances. This includes climate, political instability, and culture. They must also provide agency for locals by being cost effective, sustainable, culturally competent, and involving locals. Any steps taken to check more of these boxes, even if not all, can have tremendous effects on the success of a solution. For example, when designing my own solution, I tried to be as conscious of these guidelines as I could. I built an AI model trained on data that I got from the web about the correlation between bacteria in the soil and plant growth. I then removed all outliers using log normalization and used the clean data to train my decision tree regressor model. By sampling soil, this AI model would predict whether it's suitable for plants or not based on its bacterial composition. This solution can be easily accessible for farmers, with AI becoming more widespread, making it cost effective, and it gives them a sustainable solution for selecting suitable crops. It also gives them the agency to improve their agriculture without having to rely on external factors. So, my final message is that I urge all of you to shift your innovation mindset. The next time we talk about solutions to food aid or food security, it's important to ask, is this empowering the people that it's meant to help? In other words, is it really giving the people agency or just providing short-term solutions that aren't sustainable? I also encourage you all to support locally based organizations since they have more stability than external aid. Again, it's not always about what completely solves the problem, but what allows local to sustain themselves. Here are my references. And quickly, I would like to thank my parents for always supporting me and the Johns Hopkins GHLC for providing us with this amazing opportunity to share experiences. I also thank all of you for being a great audience, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, here's my contact information. Thank you very much.